The people that I decided to actually become involved in the rating was one or two members of my own staff, people that I have, if you like, good, fairly common or regular day-to-day contact with. One of the people, for example, was a very senior WA police officer who's a part of the senior executive of the West Australian Police Service, a person that works with me on one or two particular projects that I'm actually not answerable to, but he's a working colleague. And I sort of chose him, for example, because he's at a very senior level, and I was interested to see how I perform because I actually chair a particular task force group on behalf of the state government. He's a member of that, yet I chair it. So I wanted to really see how I'm performing, if you like, from a leadership point of view as well. And there were others who simply provide me good administrative support as well. I wanted to measure how do I perform as far as asking them to do tasks for me. You know, do I come across the right way? You know, am I getting the results that I want? And how do we rate ourselves in terms of our working relationship? So I actually chose quite a vast different sector, if you like, of people from all walks of life and different levels, but people that I think that I have regular contact. And of course, one of the main people, of course, was my particular executive as well that I report to.
The 360-degree process started with an online questionnaire, which I completed on myself as an individual, and I found that very thought-provoking. It gave you an opportunity to really stop for a minute and think about why I do what I do and what are the driving forces behind my behaviour. And that's something we don't do very often. We just carry on plodding away doing our normal everyday thing, and it was great to actually stop for a minute and really think about what drives me and how I react in certain situations.
In terms of receiving the actual report, which really demonstrated all the outcomes, I found really easy to read, and it categorised a lot of things as far as your overall performance and the different areas or levels where the information was coming from. And one of the, I think, which was really interesting is that you couldn't identify where the information was coming from a particular one person's source, which sometimes you find that these sort of things you can sort of tend to see, oh, that came from Bob or that came from, you know, Jenny or whatever the case may be. And that certainly didn't shine out at all, which was, again, which was very good to see. And in addition to that, I thought that the actual structure and the layout of the report, as I said, was very easy to read. There was lots of different categories, and there was good summarising that was provided as well. And you could see your ratings as well, which was also good. So, and you could see where you could benchmark against others or what the industry standards were and alike. So again, I thought it was and it was something that you didn't really have to sit down for hours to have a real focus on. Having read the report, and we were given it at a particular briefing session, found that I could really absorb all the information or the broad context of the information within probably 10-15 minutes, and then sort of flick back and start to get a, you know, look at the finer print, if you like, and get more of an understanding as to where those outcomes really came from. But it was very outcome based. It was very outcome resolved in terms of giving me the real answers that I wanted, and easy to find within the actual report document itself.
My advice would be grab it with both hands in terms of the 360-degree feedback process through Integral. I would say go for as many people as you possibly can in terms of getting that feedback. And also go for people who you know are going to be a little bit critical in terms of the feedback they give you, so that it does actually give you something to work on. So go widely, go up, go down, go across, which obviously is what 360 feedback is all about. But if they say you can have 15 people involved, have 15 people involved. And make sure you follow up with them, make sure you warn them in advance that it's going to happen, and make sure you thank them afterwards for providing the feedback. And then in terms of the coaching, encourage the coach to be very honest and maybe to challenge you in terms of some of the things that are going out, because that's the only way that you will really grow from the whole experience, and that's what the whole experience is all about.